rock and saw Miranda going up the mountain. It's like that movie has become a cult classic that everybody remembers, whereas I think this movie is going to become one of those movies that just, it'll be a trivia question, like on a trivia night, what movie did Robert Pattinson and William Dafoe star in together, and very little else. Like, it's just, it goes too far to the extreme, which is exactly what I found with The Witch as well.
Yeah. I mean, I did enjoy the way I was trying to look at it was just as a story of these two guys slowly going insane from the isolation and the slowly building resentment that they had for each other. It does, but as you say, it does kind of push the craziness a little early and maybe even too far. Like, you could look at it maybe these characters that one, Willem Dafoe's character is already insane from the word go, and maybe Robert Pattinson's character is already a little bit nutty before he shows up there. But it with things, it's not really a slow build up to the craziness when they start really, like, Robert Pattinson's trying to stay off the drink from the beginning. He's a straight shooter, all this, but then when they start feeling they've been the storm start building up, and the ship that's supposed to come to relieve them doesn't show up, things start going real kind of off the rails, and they start really getting into the alcohol and things that, because we're seeing it through Robert Pattinson's character's perspective, things that Willem Dafoe's saying don't line up at all with what we've seen, what we've actually witnessed. So, are they both crazy? I did like that. It's that the first day, the way we're shown it, it's the first day after the ship hasn't come to collect them, and the water has gotten into their provisions, and Willem Dafoe's telling him, "Oh, we're going to have to start rationing," and Pattinson tells him, "Oh, well, what? It's only been one day." And he said, "What are you talking about? I've been telling you for weeks. They have to start rationing, and you've just been eating them all. You've been eating all the food." And it's like, but what? Like, has he been telling this guy for weeks, or like, have they actually been trapped there a lot longer than he thinks that they've been trapped there for? Is he actually going nutty? You witness Willem Dafoe's character do things that he then accuses Robert Pattinson of doing himself. Why did you chase me with that axe? Stuff like that. I did really like that, but I just say it kind of it did lose me a bit by, I think, delving a bit too far into that, and it's one of those moves that you interpret it your own way, but maybe it did push it a little bit too far. I did think the cinematography was amazing, though. For like, I like these black and white movies. The director of photography in this movie was Jaron Balashi, and I thought he really did a great job. There's a part where I think it's during one of their many arguments that they start having, and Willem Dafoe's character starts putting like a curse on Robert Pattinson, and it just the way that it's lit, and for it to be so black and white and so so black and white and so kind of simple, dulled lighting, but the way it's lit and the way that it's presented just looked so beautiful. That really, I think, was the standout. Besides the performances, particularly of Willem Dafoe, was the director of photography's cinematography on this movie, because I thought that the movie looked beautiful considering the style that they were going for.
Yeah, and I think you just nailed something on the head there too. I think one of the reasons why I didn't really like this movie was it seemed like the characters were going crazy within just a couple of days of being there. And when you consider that William Dafoe's character has supposedly been doing this job his entire life, he shouldn't have been going crazy like a couple of days into another stint on the island. The same with Robert Pattinson's character. I think it needed to explore more of the element that this is a guy who's done something in his past that he's trying to run from. like maybe he sees the island as kind of like a sanctuary that gets him away from what he's done, but it doesn't kind of imply from anything that he says that he's nuts. Like, he's doing this more as an escape, like to get away from it. Like, the peace and tranquility of being on the island should actually be a help to that. But, and like, even if they do want to explore the notion that, you know what, William Dafoe's a bit of a bastard. Like, he wants the job of being up with the light and doesn't see himself wanting to do any of the chores around the place. Like, that would have been an interesting element as well, because you would have got to the point where it's like Robert Pattinson's character is really loathing him and hating him. But yeah, just the whole craziness just happens way too quickly. And it, from what I remember of The Witch as well, it was the same thing, that Eggers kind of has this thing where, like, it happens so fast that it doesn't become believable anymore. And I remember losing interest in The Witch, and I lost interest in this one as well. So yeah, it's not really kind of making me want to rush out and see the next Robert Eggers film when it comes out.
Yeah, I mean, like, I really think they did a great job in replicating that feel of, even though it's a movie made in 2019, replicating that feel of the late 1800s or early 1900s, that look.
Yeah.
I very recently just watched Midway, which, of course, is set in the 1940s. Doesn't look anything like a movie, like something that's set in the 1940s. It's too clean. The actors just look like modern day actors putting on phony accents, and everything's done with so much computer CGI, and it doesn't look at all believable for the time period that they're going for. But whereas this, I think, did such an amazing job on that. It really didn't get that feel down. I just wish that maybe story-wise, it could have been a bit more. There maybe could have been a bit more story in there. But again, that's probably not what Robert Eggers is going for at all.
Yeah,
and that's kind of I mean, it's like it's like going. Like, I really like Gaspar Noé movies, and his movies don't really have much of a story to them. Like, I don't think any of his movies really have traditional story at all. But I think there's more of something else to grasp onto in his films than there was in this one. This movie seems to be going in all different directions. It wants to throw so many different things at you about what it's saying about the characters, all the mythology, and Prometheus, and basically how the movie ends, and all that stuff. It's so kind of all over the place that it's really hard to kind of pick, okay, how exactly am I supposed to take this movie?
Yeah.
So it's like a beautifully filmed movie, beautifully acted movie, especially like considering that the movie's pretty much just these two actors. But yeah, it is a movie that's almost impossible to recommend.
Yeah, same here. Like, this is not a movie that I can turn around to someone and say, you should go and see this movie, because I kind of lost interest during it as well. Like, so yeah. I did have to.
It is the kind of movie that you'd have to nudge the person next to you, because they might have drifted off.
Yeah,
watching it.
We were keeping watch on each other to make sure that we didn't drift off. So I guess that leads to the big question: what are you going to give this 1 out of 5?
I'm going to be charitable, because it was so much of a performance-based movie, and what really drew me towards it as well was the style that they had gone for, that early 1900s style of feel and look, because it got those two things really down pat, and I thought they did a really good job on that. I'm going to give this 3.5 out of 5. Just again, story wise, I think it kind of let me down as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, I'm going to be a lot harsher on this one. I'm going to give this one 2 out of 5. I loved the two performances from Pattinson and Dafoe, but even that, after a while, started to grate with me. It was like I said before, there's only so many scenes that you can watch where they're yelling at each other and going into madness. So, I'm gonna have to give this one 2 out of 5. And that's it for us taking a look at the Oscar-nominated Lighthouse. 3.5 out of 5 from Kyle, 2 out of 5 from me. not one of those movies that we highly recommend, but you know what? Go along and check it out yourself. Maybe there's something in there that you enjoy, especially if you enjoy experimental theatre or something like that. Go and check it out and see what you think. But that's it for this episode of The Popcorn Conspiracy. I've been Dave G.
And I've been Kyle.
And we'll be back very, very soon with another episode of The Popcorn Conspiracy.